Well, Anol gyfeillion prynhawn da. Joe, thank you for that introduction, for everything that you do and that fantastic group of Welsh MPs do day in and day out on behalf of people in Wales. And thank you, Chair, for this opportunity to address conference. Whenever I come to Liverpool, I'm always glad to be able to say how great it is to be back in North Wales. And there's a very special reason for that Welsh celebration this year. As you heard from Joe, this autumn it will be 100 years since the Labour Party first won a majority of seats in a general election in Wales. And we've done it. We've done it in every election across the whole of the century which has followed. And it is a remarkable achievement. But the celebration is very powerfully accompanied by a growing sense of disappointment and disillusion. Because in the 100 years during which Labour has voted time and time again for Labour, only a third of those years has resulted in a Westminster government at Westminster, a Labour government at Westminster. And the message I bring this afternoon is a very simple one. The central reason for our party's existence, the reason why our members do all those things we ask of them, knocking those doors, delivering those leaflets, making those phone calls, is this: we exist to seek and to win political power. Now, we do that not as an end in itself, but because only in that way can we change for the better the lives of those who rely on the Labour Party, rely on our party to fashion that better future for us all. And conference, we can do better. Whether that's through a Welsh Labour government, or a Labour mayor, or a Labour council, we show every day the difference that Labour can make. And when we don't do it, when we don't win power on their behalf, let's be clear, we let those people down. We can carry on winning our own elections in Wales and doing all the things which only we can do. But without a Labour government at Westminster, the story can never be complete. And using the privilege of power, even in the toughest of times, it's an obligation, not a choice. In our local elections in May of this year, while the Tories lost 44% of all the seats they held in Wales, we won councils right across the country. Now, for those of you wondering what to do when this conference is over, I can offer you the opportunity to walk from the northern shores of Wales to the southernmost tip without ever leaving territory where Labour is in power. And what a sense of excitement, of new possibility there is when at last we are able to put those Labour priorities into practice. Whenever we've had the chance, it is Labour governments which have shaped the lives of our citizens for the better. Without Labour in power, there would be no NHS, no national minimum wage, no devolution to Wales and Scotland, and no peace in Northern Ireland either. And because in Wales we have had the opportunity to show what we're able to do as a Labour government, we can say to you this afternoon that in this Senedd term, as Joe told you, we won't be restarting fracking because we've never allowed it in the first place. And when we said a year ago that we would pay all our social care workers the real living wage, this year I can tell you that we've now already done it. And by the end of this Senedd term, in every primary school, in every part of Wales, every child will have a universal free school meal. Now, Conference, let me just set all this in the context of two discussions currently going on inside our own party. First of all, the Senedd, with its unbroken Labour governments, has always been elected by proportional representation. And that system was put on the statute book twice by Labour governments at Westminster. In a conference earlier this summer in Wales, over 3/4 of the entire Welsh Party voted to strengthen the proportionality of our voting system, making sure that every Labour vote in Wales will count towards creating that next Welsh Labour government. And secondly, Conference, while Labour has always formed the government in Wales, we've never governed alone. The fault line in Welsh politics runs right down the middle of the Senedd. On one side, a reactionary, out-of-touch, deeply unloved Conservative party. On the other side, those parties committed to social and economic progress. Do the parties of the centre-left agree on everything? Of course not. But we focus on those areas where progressive parties can agree. A politics which recognises the dominant position of Labour, but which also knows that no party has a monopoly on good or progressive ideas. And in the face of the dreadful decisions of last week, the obligation to do everything we can to take and exercise power on behalf of that great mass of decent people, the length and breadth of the United Kingdom, that obligation is more powerful than ever. How has it come to this? A country in which the rich are rewarded, while a cruel and casual kick is aimed at those families struggling by on bare bones universal credit. Conference, of course we are better than this. People across our country want what we as a party want. A country in which the broadest backs bear the greatest burden, where we protect, not punish, those made vulnerable by sickness or disability or old age, where extraordinary windfall profits are put to the work for the benefit of us all, and where borrowing is used to invest in the skills and the infrastructure which really create economic growth, not squandered away in pursuit of a dogma which has been disproved time and time again right around the world. Today, a fearful United Kingdom looks on in dismay and disbelief at the wreckage being caused by a government which they had no hand in creating. Towards the end of his too short life, Aneurin Bevan's great friend and agent Archie Lush said to him, "You see, Nye, you could have been Prime Minister if you wanted to." And Bevan replied, "I never wanted to be anything. I wanted to do something." And Conference, this is the simple difference between the Tories and ourselves. They scrap like ferrets in a sack just to become Prime Minister. We want Keir Starmer to be Prime Minister because we know that he will want to do the things which only Labour can do. Wales and Britain really can be better, and that's why there is nothing nothing more important for Wales than working together to make sure that happens. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much.